From CJLO Radio in Montreal, Quebec, this is your host, Yael Lasowski, and I'm here with Liberty in Exile.
And so it is to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bring you liberty, not destroy it. The evil that governments do lives after them, the good is often interred with their bones, so let it be with Liberty in Exile. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm your host once again, Yael Lasowski. I'd like to welcome everyone here. 'Tis a beautiful day full of rain and cold, but it's okay, we are surviving. Number here at CJLO is 514-848-7471, 514-848-7471. Our website is libertyinexile.wordpress.com, libertyinexile.wordpress.com. There, of course, we'll have our blog, our Twitter feed, the links, the podcast, the videos, and much, much more to amuse yourself for a few hours, and it's offered to you for absolutely no charge. I would also like to remind you once again that the iTunes podcast is available in the iTunes store. Just head over there, type in Liberty in Exile, get it up, subscribe, it's done. Now, once I can turn you on to podcasting, I can turn you on to almost anything. So I'm very proud of that. Today is the 9th of April, 2010. It's been a very interesting week. Been much international news. There's been a lot of news here in Quebec and in Canada. But myself right now, I'd like to concentrate on the corporate debt state. Now, this is a big interest to me. I am a fan of economics. I'm a fan of monetary policy, and I really don't like the way that things are turning out. We'll just say that. I've got an article here from Yahoo News, Agence France Presse, which is basically trying to explain why the recovery is taking so long. Now, it's still being debated now why this entire economic calamity came about. Just as the Great Depression actually is still being debated now. Some say it's been capitalism gone awry, but as the studies have shown, that's not exactly true. When you have the Federal Reserve that's creating credit out of nowhere, instant money line to businesses, and all of a sudden they pull the plug just like that. Of course that's what happens. But this article is actually, I have another one from U.S. News and World Report. Why the recovery is taking so long. If the economic recovery seems like a mirage, you're not imagining things. The data show that the economy has stopped shrinking and started growing, which is good news no matter what. Economists broadly agree that the recession probably ended last summer, which means things ought to get better. Yet jobs are still scarce. The housing bust continues, consumers and businesses remain skittish, and many families are barely muddling through. It's a recovery, yes, says Neramin Bevrashi, chief economist for forecasting firm IHS Global Insight, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Part of the reason for the slow-motion recovery is the depth and nature of the recession that preceded it. A Federal Reserve study, that means you have to trust it, a Federal Reserve study of the past 3 recessions found that unemployment, income, spending, stock prices, home values, and wealth all fell much more sharply during the 2007 to 2009 recession than after the downturns of 2001 or 1991. Loan delinquencies and bankruptcies correspondingly rose much faster. That leaves a lot of damage to repair. Now, it says that this most broad economist will agree to this. Now, there's no such thing as a broad economic community, just like there is no broad scientific community. That is a fallacy. There is no monolith of economist nor scientist. They've tried to create them through the UN and through world organizations, but it does not exist. Now, most of the economists that I pay attention to, that I listen to, most of the Austrian school, they know that what's going on right now is not a recovery. What is happening is just government public money has gone to fund private corporations to shore up these banks, and that's all. It's temporary. It's just building another bubble. They call it the bailout bubble. So all this public money has been given to these private people. Hey, spend this money. And they expect that it's going to bring the entire economy up out of the mud. Well, my friends, it is itself a fallacy as well. Now, they've tried to sell that because Wall Street is breaking in record profits and the stock market is going high, that, hey, the entire recession's over. But when you still have 10% of your people that are not working, 10% of your population that's sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, and those are just the ones who are claiming benefits. Some economists actually say that the real unemployment rate is much higher, around 21%. Those are the ones who aren't collecting money and are actively looking for jobs, on the run, are panicked, and there are much more that are even underemployed, not making the money that they should be. Now, this is a troubling issue. This has come to dominate the salience of the times. We have the economy in our minds, just like before us it was nuclear warheads and the Soviet Union. Before that it was Vietnam. Before that it was communism. Before that it was the Nazis. And on and on. When it has this power to basically influence all of society, you know that it's a big issue. And it will continue to be. And until, I believe, our governments stop giving all of this public money away to private interest, not at the benefit of the people, this is just going to perpetually continue on and on. I have an interesting article from the New York Times. It has to do with illegal internships. The article is from the 2nd of April. The unpaid intern, legal or not? Quoting from the article. With job openings scarce for young people, the number of unpaid internships has climbed in recent years, leading federal and state regulators to worry that more employers are illegally using such internships for free labor. Convinced that many unpaid internships violate minimum wage laws, officials in Oregon, California, and other states have begun investigations and fined employers. Last year, Madame Patricia Smith, then New York's labor commissioner, ordered investigations into several firms' internships. Now, as the federal Labor Department's top law enforcement official, she and the Wage and Hour Division are stepping up enforcement nationwide. Many regulators say that violations are widespread, but that it is unusually hard to mount a major enforcement effort because interns are often afraid to file complaints. Many fear they will become known as troublemakers in their chosen field, endangering their chances with a potential future employer. Now, this article made a lot of play out on the web and Twitter. It was on the Twitter feed. A lot of people are commenting on this, and they kind of see it as ridiculous. Now the government wants to regulate internships, saying that they're illegal, saying that companies use them for free labor. Now, the entire point of an internship goes back to the days of being an apprentice. That goes all the way back to ancient Rome. You're an apprentice. You take on a job or a duty. You're only there for experience. And normally you do it for no pay, or you do it for very little pay, and you're just there to learn, to adapt to that field. Now, why is it that they want to crack down on this all of a sudden? Normally that is the route that we have to take after high school, university, anything of the sort. You go into an internship, you learn the trade, therefore you have both the theory and the experience culminated together, and you are perfect for the job market.